Hello and greetings. This is Jabba here. Obviously, Jabba's not my real name. My real name's James, but if you're a visitor to the DAZ forums, then you'll know me better as Jabba 101. And like I say, hello. Aye. All right. What we're looking at today is the advanced ambient light. Now, it's Age of Armour's put together these brilliant set of lights. Which includes the advanced ambient light and the advanced spotlight. Obviously, we can't cover everything. For the main reason being is that I don't know everything either. Okay, a couple of things to say at the outset. I'm not an expert. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, basically. Just because I'm doing something one way, that doesn't mean that's the right way and other ways are the wrong way. It just means that's the way that works for me. If you've got another way that suits you better, go for it. You know it's like it's got to be what's right for the individual. I might not use the correct terminology either. I'll just use how things work in my head. I've not went away and like read a book or something or consulted an encyclopedia or something. I'll just say it the way I see it or the way I think it. That's so that doesn't necessarily mean that it'll technically be like the precise correct word that may be used. I suppose I should give a bit of a word of warning up front as well. If you accidentally stray into some of the other videos in my YouTube channel, don't worry, nobody else has either. And then you'll notice that I do have a bit of a tendency to use foul language, especially when I'm gaming. So I thought I'd better give you a word of warning that I'm aware that some people can find it upsetting. So a word of warning there. But when it's my art related, so if it's DAZ Studio or Photoshop related stuff, what I'll do, I'll make a specific point of behaving myself, being a good boy, and using good Queen's English. Honest. Okay. Enough about the Queen. Don't want to get started on the Empire and all that, do we? Right. So if I bring up DAZ Studio, which here's one I prepared earlier. Right, okay, so as we can see, I've already got my Genesis clothed and posed, my props are in place, that way we can go straight into the lights. So if I load an ambient light to begin with. Okay, parameters tab, basically for 99% of the stuff I do, I sort of like live in my parameters tab. It's obviously other ones do have their functions, but like I say, 99% of the stuff I do when I'm adjusting settings, unless it's specifically surfaces, so it's it's parameters or surfaces that I'm in most of the time. Okay, anyway, I better not digress. It's, right, so we have the three that we need that we should concentrate on are the light, the occlusion, and lighting control. So if we do a quick render, just so that you can see. Oops, hang on. Tell you what. I'll just quickly tweak these down a bit, just so that they're easier to. Shading rate, I'll whack it up to 1. Just so that it's rendering quicker and we can see easier on the screen. So if we do a quick render. So this is it, the ambient light with the default settings. As you can see, the default settings looking pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I can't complain at that, can I? Okay. Oops. Right, now what I've got a habit of doing is just is whacking all for something like the so I can actually don't need to keep switching between so I just scroll down. I've got them all here. Okay, now what we have our hit mode. Now I won't even attempt to explain what's a lot of the words actually mean. Otherwise, I would have to be rushing away to an encyclopedia. Okay. Shader, I believe that's the most complex one. So that if you've got a lot of trans maps and stuff, then your shadows will reflect how the trans maps look. But we can get a much faster. I'll even say it's faster. If we switch that to primitive. So what it's doing, rather than looking at any trans maps we've maybe got, it'll look at the actual shape of the geometry, and the shadows will be worked out according to the actual basics of the geometry, rather than any extras that have been added through trans maps. So if we render that, here you can see it's rendering faster. So for the sake of this this presentation, I'll just leave it at primitive hit mode, because as you can see, everything's all modelled. So don't need to worry about trans maps. Okay, so if we look at the actual light side of things. Now, generally speaking, when we're talking about using with other lights, then I would maybe have it down less than half. Because as you can see, it's giving us a lovely enough detail in the shadows. But there's plenty of scope to add extra lights, to add highlights to the scene, rather than having everything just... because when everything's highlighted, yes, you can see all the detail, but at the same time, there's nothing standing out, there's nothing highlighted. There's no object of attention that your eye is automatically being drawn to. Okay, but while we're just using this one light, I'll put it back to 100%. Now we've got our fall off and our light radius. To cut a long story short, we've got our fall off blend. Now, what the blend is how smooth the transition is from the light dissipating into the darkness. Now, if I do like a 1 meter radius, just to actually make this a stark example. I'll leave it positioned there because as you can see, it's positioned right in front of the foot. So what this will then do is this will radiate for a radius of 1 meter in every direction. So 1 meter up, 1 meter out, 1 meter down. So most of the scene will actually be in blackness. So as we can see, it's so we've got a radius of 1 meter. So like I say, so it's going 1 meter in every direction, but the fall off rate is at 50% at the moment. So from 50% out, it is then starting to blend into darkness. See, if we take the fall of blend to 0, then then the light will be right to the full extent of the radius without any blend into darkness. He says confidently, because I must admit I don't normally go below the default. I usually put it higher than the default, if anything. So you see what I mean? There's no, there's no fall off. So it's just gone sharply from the edge right into darkness, and it's up to a meter in height. So if we go to the other extreme, 100%, we'll see that we won't see as far out to the extremities. But we will have the softest possible blend as the light gently dissipates into darkness. So the default of 50% is a good happy medium, especially for general purpose. If I'm going extreme, well, I would maybe go I'll maybe up it to between 60 and 70%. But it just depends on the mood for each setting. But just for argument's sake, I'll just put it back to default now. But of course, we do not need to actually be falling off into darkness either. It's only falling off into darkness if we've got the fall of colour set at black. But if we change this colour, then we can actually have it fall off. So the light falling off into a different infinite ambient colour. So just for argument's sake, if I put that there. See, so we're getting this bluish grey ambience that is infinitely projecting over the scene. But still, for that 1 meter that we've got it set at, we still have the white light. It's like if I was to extend this to 3 meters, say, that 10 feet, so that'll cover the height of the character. You see, he's getting the white light because he's within the light radius. And it's as you can see, we're still getting the white light, but obviously at a new radius of 3 meters. If we're wanting to get really smart, then change this to something dramatic. So it's bathed in red, but it's dissipating into that grey blue. Now, the other thing we can do, the sorts of things that we can do, we could play around with this. Put this up around the so what it's going to do now is it's going to radiate along the radius of 1 meter in every direction from whichever point that you actually place this at. So now it's a case of his body is going to be red, and it'll dissipate at the meter distance. So as you can see, there's lots of ways that we can sort of play around with just using a single light, using the fall off and the light radius. And yeah, hours of fun for all the family. Okay, right. If I put this back. Okay, and I'll reset that at default. Because what I'll do, I'll actually load a different, an additional. Oh, of course, I saved the scene, didn't I? So, okay. So what we'll do, the advanced ambient light, I will put this at. Oh yeah. Let's do an aqua green. So as you can see, it's we're going almost grungy at the get-go. Okay, but you get the idea. So this is the colour of this scene in general. Right, now, this, as you can see, I've brought in a second ambient light. I must admit, to do something like what I'm about to do, I would normally bring in an advanced spotlight rather than the other ambient light, but I don't want to start jumping and changing so soon between the different lights, because you can get the exact same effect here looking at the ambient light. In fact, the ambient light might be handy if perhaps you had several figures and you're wanting to quickly change something in all of them. Without going in. Okay. I'll stick to the light rather than surmising about what you might want to do. Okay. Right. So if we make this one, oh yeah, shocking pink. Yeah. How's about shocking pink? Yeah. And. But obviously we don't want these interfering with each other. We just want this to be doing what we want it to do. So what I want to do is, right, just so you can get an idea of the colour. Well, so I can get an idea of the colour as well. So I know what I'm working with. Okay, it's coming up a bit maroon there, isn't it? It's, I think we just need it generally brighter, don't we? Anyway, it's just so that it's an obvious colour rather than it getting mixed too easily in with the background. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah. So what I want to do here, right? So the idea. Let's just invent a scenario that we're wanting to do here with this scene. So we want to have this sort of grungy background, but we're wanting a splash of colour just to emphasise his armour, perhaps. So here, so the helmet. The shoulder pads, gloves, and perhaps his boots. You know, to make it look as if it's like, oh yes, it's like he's got some decent armour on. Maybe his cod piece as well. Okay. So in order to do that, we can actually selectively render different colours to different surfaces. And what we've got here is we have our lighting control. Oh, hang on. I'll just quickly change this hit mode to primitive as well. Again, it's because, like I was saying earlier, we don't have any issues with any of the models in the scene. You know, so it'll be faster all around if I just use the primitive hit mode. Okay, so what we have is flagging, and what this is, we can tell the light to do certain things based on customized parameters. Right. Try to get big with my words here, aren't I? Okay. So just for this example, I'll use diffuse strength 99%. And so if there's a surface that's got a diffuse strength of 99%, we want this light to do what? Well, we can have it don't illuminate the flagged parts only. Use alternative samples. So you can swap the different hit modes if you want. For this one, illuminate flagged only. Right, now when it says diffuse strength 99%, this is where we'll be going into the surfaces. So diffuse strength 99%. Might want to do that with other bits and pieces. Glove suit. Okay, diffuse strength. Yeah, go for it. Right. 99%. Okay. So if we go to the ambient light, just checking again. So what we've got is, so if there's a diffuse strength of 99%, only illuminate the things that are flagged at diffuse strength 99%. So if I render the surfaces that I have put at 99% will show up. Anything else will not. Now add in the other ambient light. And you can see we're lifting the armour out of that greenness of the ambient light. Of the main ambient light. Okay, hang on, I'll just pause the record there.